Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Kiwi.
Have you ever been to one of those walk-in aquariums? No, you go under the shark tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's me. In the tunnel, watching them swimming around.
I mean, it's the fourth time we've been up against this deadline. We can't keep fucking these guys around, Stan. They'll sue us.
I need a break, Tom. I need to get out of it for a while.
You heard of the blood rush theory?
No?
It's principally Aztecs used. You know, if you've got a big problem in your life, you just got to get out of your head, gain some clarity, rush a lot of blood through the body.
This guy that I'm meant to be writing about at the moment, Harry Jenson, killed 37 people before they executed him.
The film is I'm Not Harry Jenson. It's the debut feature film from writer-director James Napier Robertson, and it's been shot almost entirely on location against the stunning backdrop of New Zealand's Waitakere Ranges. And it follows the journey of the worldwide best-selling crime novelist and expat Kiwi Stanley Merce, who is played by Gareth Reeves, as he struggles to overcome a writer's block which threatens to stall his career. That sets the scene. And to tell us more about it is the writer-director James Napier Robertson, joining us on the phone today. Good morning to you, James.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Actually, are you in New Zealand at the moment?
I am actually. Yeah, I'm up in Auckland.
Ah, good. It's good to have you on. Now you are a passionate storyteller, but particularly about crime and murder, or just in general.
I think crime and murder always sort of gives you a lot of drama, so it's a good story to sort of spin. I think with this one, what really sort of drew me to it was, thinking about a character who is sort of becoming a writer. Really, it's about a writer who starts to become obsessed with what he's working on, he starts to almost feel like he's taking on the persona of this. This sort of serial killer that he's meant to be writing about. And so, he sort of freaks out and kind of tries to get it out of his head and go away. And of course, that's what the name is about, is, him sort of, is he Harry Jenson or not? That's the guy he's writing about. So I think, crime and drama, they sort of interest me in that level of, they're definitely the extremes of our personalities, and when we go off the dark end, really.
Were you a big fan of crime novels as such, murder novels?
Yeah, I sort of grew up with my mum always sort of had many Agatha Christie novels lying around the house, so I sort of grew up reading those, and I'm a big fan of Hitchcock, so I sort of watched a lot of Alfred Hitchcock films. So I'm a real enthusiast of noir films. So I guess those all sort of have that crime element to them.
Yeah.
Definitely, I'm a big sort of fan of the genre. Yeah.
I've got to say, I mean, it's a stunning debut.
Thank you very much.
And I can't imagine it's all that easy to get off the ground a movie like this. To actually write it yourself and direct it and convince people to back it as well. Yeah. How did that come about?
Yeah, I think it's one of those we just sort of. Were absolutely determined to. I'd sort of wanted to make a film for quite a while. I'd made short films. I'd sort of, directed a couple of music videos and stuff like that. But I really sort of wanted to make, a full-length sort of proper film. And so, it was a combination of I wrote this script, and then an old friend of mine, a guy called Tom Hearn. Basically, he was looking for something to produce. He wanted to sort of produce a film, and so we kind of, when we got together, I think literally we just sort of agreed that we would sort of follow this through and make it happen regardless of what happened to us along the way.
Yeah.
And I think, yes, it was extremely hard at times, but I think when you are, utterly resolved in doing something like that, you will eventually come out the other side. There's no guarantee that you'll come out the other side and it will actually be any good.
Well, see, that's the thing that I guess New Zealand directors deal with is not having a very, very big budget. So you can't rely on great effects all the time, and
Yeah.
and and amazing locations. Although being in New Zealand, that's not always a problem,
Yeah.
depending on what sort of film it is. But you do have to rely on the actors, don't you?
Yeah, I think, partly with this film, I also, when I was writing it, I was very aware that we'd have no money. So I kind of wrote a stage play to a degree where it was relying a lot on just the talent of the actors, because, in New Zealand we've got an incredible amount of talent here, with actors, with crew, that, people that are sort of really good at their job, and, there's often the bigger budget productions that do pop into New Zealand, and people kind of skill up on those things. And then they're sort of, hanging around looking for other work. So I sort of, knew that if we could get a really good cast together, and then as you said also, we didn't have a lot of money, but we do have New Zealand as our, film studio. And with, locations like the Waitakere Ranges, it just looks incredible on camera.
Which is extraordinary, because it's so close to Auckland.
Yeah.
But you're not setting it in a particular place. It's set in New Zealand, but but it's meant to be very remote, isn't it?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to leave it a little sort of obscure as to exactly where this all happened. But yeah.
But getting back to the actors you've chosen, you've relied on their acting abilities to create a tension in the film, a tension between the characters.
Yeah.
Neither one knowing what the other one is up to.
Yeah. I think it's when we were sort of casting the film, we did have our sort of dream cast that we thought would be perfect for each character, and at the end we actually got everyone, and I think even more so than we thought. I mean, you've got people like Ian Mune, Marshall Napier, Alona Rogers, these people who have been in the industry for 50 years, some of them just producing amazing work. So when you've got people like that on board and in their acting, it's going to be good. So you've just got to make sure you cover it.
Yeah. And of course, Gareth Reeves as your lead. Cutting his teeth on things like Insider's Guide to Happiness. He's he's a great actor.
Yeah. He was stunning. I mean, for that role, because that's such a crucial role. I mean, the whole film really hinges on it. So we knew we needed someone who was just going to step up and do an amazing job. We auditioned quite a lot of people, and Gareth, was the one person that we just, sort of all agreed was amazing, and he really was. I mean, he was absolutely fantastic in the film.
And the film also required a convincing American actress. Now, one thing we often do in New Zealand is we try to put on American accents, and that we don't pull that off, I think, all that well all the time. But you went and got yourself an American actress.
Yeah. No, she. I knew Jenny because I've sort of gone between New Zealand and the States, and I'd actually. I'd sort of, so I was familiar with her, and I'd seen her work, and, I read her for the role and stuff, and she was, she was really right for the part. And, we said to her, look, we don't have a lot of money. I think, I think we could just afford to fly her out here, and pay her very little as then, but was she interested? And she sort of leapt at the opportunity. And I'm really glad that we went with her.
Well, because Ginny has starred in things like The Horse Whisperer, Don't Come Knocking, and the TV series CSI New York as well. Yeah. So I guess as a director, you had plenty of opportunity to see what she's like on screen.
Exactly. I'd seen a lot of stuff, and I mean, you can get an idea as well. Often, when you read with someone or you get someone to perform, to audition, and you can tell. Pretty quickly if they're in the right sort of zone for the role or not.
So James, I mean, are you happy at the end of it?
Yeah, it's sort of one of those things. It's a little bit of a never-ending ride, really, because once you get one thing achieved and finished, you've got to get the next phase done. I mean, there's so many sort of from the writing and then the shooting it and then editing it and then marketing it and promoting it and these sort of things, just to get the word out there on it. And it's a long journey. I think it's been probably the last sort of 2 or 3 years. But I have an immense sense of satisfaction, with the whole thing, that we've got this far, we've made it, to this point without anything falling apart horrifically. So it's wonderful to sort of be able to show people it now and kind of actually see, let people see what you've been working on for the last sort of few years.
Well, James Napier Robinson, we really do appreciate your time this morning and talking about I'm Not Harry Jenson. Thanks very much.
Yeah, great, awesome. Thank you very much.
See ya.